Good morning guys, welcome back to my channel.
And excuse me for the background. My office is super messy at the moment and so is my house. It's like just stuff laying everywhere. We just had Christmas, so I've been sick for a week and I kind of took some time off, especially with YouTube and making videos. But before this year end, I wanted to make a video like I normally would to kind of let you guys know how many houses I have sold this year. Usually at the end of the year, I like to do kind of like a summary just to, let you guys know what are my main lead sources and what are some of the things that works out for me. A little bit of background, I am a 4th year real estate agent, and this year I have been dealing and selling the most houses that I could ever imagine. So I have done 52 transactions plus 3 rentals, and I'm a solo agent. Majority of my listing were done by the seller side. I do have a team where I kind of just contribute all my buyer leads to my buyer agent. So I don't really personally work or show homes with any buyers. I'm just focused on the listing side. Now, in the next part of the video, I want to do a breakdown on 2 parts. One is my 6 lead sources that's been working out for me this year. And then secondly, I wanted to do a monthly breakdown on the schedule of how many closings I have had in January, February, March. And it's crazy to know January till May, I didn't have that many closings. I would never think that after the summer and especially after the holidays, like after October, I could get this busy. So let's get into it. Okay, so in these 52 houses, I've done 11 cold call, mostly 11 cold call follow-ups. 9 referrals are people that I know from my sphere of influence, 10 paid advertising through Zillow, and 4 for sale by owners, 1 expired listing, and then 17 buyer leads that was generated from my Chinese YouTube channel and then also from sign calls. So if you break these down, 21% are from cold call and follow-ups, and that's majority of my leads are from, and the 9 referrals are 17% of my total business. I'm gonna tell you guys the referrals actually mostly are coming from cold call as well, because I moved to Philly without really knowing anybody, and those referrals are basically my originally cold called seller leads into a lot of their family members. So technically these are also referral. They're originally from cold calls. And then 10 paid advertising from Zillow. I pay about $1,200 a month on Zillow per me agent, and then 4 for sale by owners. I started cold call a lot FSBO the beginning of this year, and then towards the end, especially after summer, I start getting really busy. So I'm kind of toned down with the FSBO, and then 1 expired listing, and 17 buyers from YouTube channel and also my sign calls. And these are insane. The conversion rate, I'll say, is quite low. So on average, I'll get about 1 or 2 messages or phone calls of people who knows of me from social media and they want to buy a house in Philly. And I quickly schedule either a phone call, or I talk to them on the phone, qualify them if they're legit, they've being pre-qualified or not, and then I'll distribute these leads to 4 buyer agents that I have on my team. So I'm really glad that this lead source actually worked out so well for me this year, because I don't have this lead generation way last year. Now, on the next part of the video, I wanted to kind of do the monthly breakdown. If you guys watch this part, you will know I did not picture myself or imagine myself doing this well this year, because in January I've had 3 closings, February 4 closings, and 1 of them is a for sale by owner, and then March I have a closed couple follow-up calls, because usually the seller that you've been following up, they started getting ready to sell in the springtime. So on March I have 5 deals, April I have 3 deals, and majority of them they're sellers, I didn't have any buyers. Then I started my Chinese YouTube channel back in March. It started to generate me a lot more leads. Then I started closing about May to August, 7 buyer transactions, and then also 6 sellers. Now, from September to October, I have 7 sellers, 6 buyers. And then from the month of November to December, I have 4 buyer transactions and 7 listings. So in just 1 month, I have about 11 closings. And you always have to track 2 months ahead of time. So these are the seeds that I planted probably a year or a couple years ago, or maybe the transaction happened 2 months ago, because it takes about 45 to 6 days to close that transaction. And it just blows my mind, things how crazy it could have got after October. And I found out I was pregnant in July, and I was thinking, like, this year probably is like, that's it, because I don't think I could work any harder. I'm just really glad that I didn't really slow down. I still kept doing what I normally would do. I still go to the office, I still prospect as if I was not pregnant. So I'm just so glad that this year turned out to be so well, and I'm on a track that I kind of set myself for a goal, and I'm hitting that goal. Now, before I end today's video, I wanted to quickly talk about 3 stories that I had with the leads, and I turned that into a transaction with my seller. And I think it's quite motivating and inspiring if you guys, are brand new. So one of my sellers, Susan, I actually initially found out, she called me through Zillow because I'm a local agent. So she called me, she wants to sell her house back in the springtime. I sold her house to an investor because the house is not ready to show. It's like a really bad condition. And I did a good job. So she then kind of referred me to her sister, which I closed on the sister's house back in September. And then they have another sister also lives in the same area. Then she will be ready to sell next year in the springtime. So it's like 1 lead is turning into 3 transactions for me in less than 2 years. And then the second one is a lead that actually didn't work out, but I didn't stop following up with this particular seller. They have a financial kind of hardship, and then I kept following up with him, and his house didn't work out, but he referred me to his father. So I went meet with his father. The father had already interviewed 2 local realtors, and the 2 realtors didn't really show the kind of attitude or, the numbers, like they just didn't think that he could get it. But when I went to see Kevin, I showed a plan of action. I also kind of tell him what I think the house could go for, what my plans are exactly to sell the house. So he signed the listing contract the next day, and we had a house show for about 48 hours, and then we had it on the contract for like $10,000 over asking price, and he was really happy. I'm gonna kind of put a review on the side that you guys can see. And because of Kevin, he referred me to a neighbor. Then I sold the neighbor's in-laws house in 2 months. And then also I sold another house that the neighbor referred me to another grandma. So it was just insane that like 1 lead that didn't work out ended up referring me to another 3 transactions. And I could not see this coming. Like I just, I'm just doing what I'm really good at. I'm just following up with people, helping them if they have any questions. And then the last one is my other seller. He has about 15 houses, and I met him 2 months ago. I sold one of the properties that he was ready to sell, but then he has 2 other properties that he was thinking about selling, but he's not really sure like if he could get the number that he wanted. So I sold his house in 2 weeks, and he has 2 more duplexes that he might be thinking about selling in the following year. So I'm also gonna follow up with that as well. So it's just like crazy how things could escalate in many years down the road. Because if you are talking to so many people, there are just so many connections, and people are talking to other people, and a good word of mouth is truly a amazing and free advertising tool for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. This is Luna. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.